Hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt, as always, and it is meltingly hot. We are having a late summer and I am not enjoying it at all because many of you who know me personally know I absolutely hate heat. Cannot deal with it, cannot live with it, get it out. And that's mainly just because England doesn't have air conditioning in houses. We have air conditioning in buildings and stuff. So, like in your supermarkets, in uh, big office buildings, they'll have air conditioning. Not in houses though, so it's utter hell. And my room defies the laws of thermodynamics because it will heat up so easily but then not cool down. You cannot get my room to cool down. The only way it will cool down is if the outside temperature is like 15 degrees Celsius for 3 days, and then my room will eventually come back down to 20. Nightmare, honestly. This is why I want to move towards having air source heat pumps. I love heat pumps after learning about them because essentially it's if you're familiar with what air conditioning is, you can just do that in reverse and you get heating. And that's what a heat pump is. It just moves heat, so you can do it either way to cool or even heat a place. So I want that, but I digress. Let's talk about what's happened this week, as opposed to complaining about the fact that it's frigging hot. And we'll talk about what happened Saturday with Domino's. Oh yes, I am a sucker for Domino's. Honestly, I was brought up on it throughout my university degree. Because essentially every time the university did an event of some sort where we were there for the whole day, they would trick us into doing it by saying, "Yeah, you can have free Domino's for lunch." Here's the fun part: if you like a vegetarian pizza or just a veggie pizza, you're gonna be in for a great time. I personally don't mind a veggie pizza. I will eat it, even though there's mushrooms on it, which I don't like mushrooms. Still eat the pizza because it's amazing. And that means that everybody else who thinks a vegetable pizza is the worst thing since sliced bread just leaves it, so you get a whole entire pizza to yourself. It's great. Me and my sister were on our own for last Saturday night. Our parents decided to go out with some friends and have a meal. That's fair dues. So me and my sister were like, well, let's have some Domino's, baby. When did we get this opportunity? And the nice thing is that they do an online offer, or I think it's an online offer, where if you collect from them, they will allow you to buy literally any pizza for 10 quid. Yes, please. Done. Sold. So essentially, you can order any four topping create your own pizza or just any pizza on the menu, any size for 10 quid. And I lived off of this first year. I say lived off this, but I abused this first year because I lived a 5 minute walk from a Domino's. Amazing. I could just order a pizza on a Saturday night. It wasn't 10 quid back then, it was more like 8 or 7 quid. So it's gone up, but I mean, it was 4 years ago, so I digress. So first off, my sister needed to pick up a package, so I thought, okay, we'll drive to pick up her package, and then we'll go and pick up the pizzas. That was all fine. And then the drama started. So my sister goes in, she collects her order in like 2 seconds flat, no problem, easy peasy. I go in, all hell breaks loose. I'm kidding. It wasn't that bad. But there was two people already waiting, so I was courteous and saying like, oh, are you waiting? Do you need to order or whatever? And they're like, oh, no, you can go. So I literally step up to the counter, about to say to the guy stood there like, oh, I'm here for a collection. That's all I need. Phone rings and he says, oh, can you wait a minute? I'm going to answer the phone. I was like, okay, I can't really say no because that would be rude. And then he proceeded to have the longest phone call in the history of phone calls. And I'm just stood there like, my pizza's done somewhere in your facility, probably going cold, and you're here on the phone call. And the other person, oh, what was the other person doing? They ordered some ridiculously complicated order because it was near £40, whatever they ordered. And then they were trying to pay over the phone with a card, which is something only people over the age of 80 do. But then didn't know how to pay over the phone with a card because the guy had to explain to them what numbers off of their card they needed to then accept payment. Ridiculous, honestly. So I must have stood there for what seemed like eternity, but it was probably more like 5-6 minutes. And then literally I just say to him, I'm here for collection. He brings the pizza out in 20 seconds flat and I'm gone. I'm like, oh, why did you make me wait? Oh, pain and suffering and first world problems. But yeah, that's what happened with the Domino's. It was still a damn good pizza. I thoroughly enjoyed it because I am a sucker for Domino's. And for anybody who's like, oh no, pizza or Papa John's or whatever, I'm a Domino's boy, and I hate to admit that. But I only get Domino's on special occasions, such as that. So the next thing is, I saw this post of now no longer existing can't speak today. They're no longer existing stores in the UK. So one of them being a place called Summerfields. Not spelt summer as in the season, summer as in SOMER for whatever reason. There was also places like Woolworths, can't remember any more. There's a place called Comet, which is the coolest name for a tech store. I'm so upset that they're gone. But yeah, that's how that happened. And it just brought on so many feelings of nostalgia. And it dug up this really obscure memory in my mind where I remember we went to a Summerfields when I was very young at the seaside. And that was the first time I had a tuna pasta pot. You know those like pre-made pasta pots that supermarkets do? I don't know if they do them anywhere else or if it's just England. But yeah, that was the first time I had one of them because they're absolutely delicious. I love them. But I also distinctly remember that they had sort of seaside themed items past the tills. So like they had what they call like boogie boards and, you know, shovels and pails and stuff for going along the beach. Maybe hula hoops and kites and things like that. Yeah, just weird. And it's odd that your childhood now no longer exists. Like those stores just aren't a thing anymore. But they're so ingrained in my mind because, you know, that's what I grew up on. And it's just nostalgia, man. Love it. Also, sorry if there's more noises than usual this week. Again, recording on location. That's not because of construction this week, because of other things, but I won't get into that. There's no point. Okay. So, I'm currently sat in a little car park. Now, if you don't have Lidl in your country, I'm very sorry for you, because Lidl is great. Cheap stuff, some good stuff. The bakery section is a trap, honestly, because you'll just end up being like, it's really cheap pastries and stuff. And some of them are really good. I did a thing where I went trying all of the pastry items, and was deciding which I found the best. Surprise, really good one. They do an apple turnover for like 50p. It's ridiculous. I imagine if it was really good when I ate it cold, which it was, it would be amazing if you took it home, heated it up in the oven, preferably because it heats better in the oven, and then give it some like vanilla ice cream. Oh, that would be amazing. It would be delicious. Completely off topic anyway. You all want to hear about the interview, I'm sure. And the interview was interesting. So to start off with, it was an online interview over the wonderful thing we like to call Teams. I actually went really smoothly in terms of technical stuff. Had no problems with that. So that was nice. Not having to deal with Teams being Teams. There were 3 people on the panel interviewing me, and they all asked 3 questions, which was kind of nice. Meant that I didn't have to worry too much about how much they were gonna ask, and I knew sort of as we were going where we were in the progress of the interview. And out of those 9 questions, I think I answered all of them except one really well. The only question that I kind of tripped up on was they asked me about an example of a time where I showed initiative, and to be honest, I can't think of one off the top of my head still to this point in time, so I'm gonna have to dig deep and try and figure out what kind of example I can give for that in future. But the rest of them I did really well. They asked some competency questions to sort of give me an example of when you did X, Y, Z. And they asked some generic questions like, what did they ask? They said, what do you think is the most important part about working in a team? So that's kind of your generic questions or situational questions. But overall, I think it went well. I'm hoping that I did enough to potentially get the job. We will see. They said I might hear by the end of the week. If at latest it will be early next week. So obviously I won't hear about it over the weekend because, you know, people aren't working over the weekend. So yeah, fingers crossed for that, because I would like the job because it was something I really was interested in when I applied for it, obviously. So yeah, I'm kind of not sure what to talk about. I've just had my phone sat on an ice pack, by the way, as well. Sorry, I heard a really weird noise and got a little concerned that it was my phone. But no, my phone was really hot when I parked up and got it out. So I was like, I need to cool my phone down because it's really friggin' hot, and I'm kind of concerned. But I've done that now, and my phone seems okay. So thank you all for listening. This has been a bit of a disjointed episode. I'm really sorry about that, but I hope it is still entertaining to listen to. Oh my god. Cars driving past me. Ah! Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to this in post, and if it sounds garbage, this episode won't be released, and I'll re-record one tomorrow, which will be interesting. Either way, I hope you've all enjoyed listening to me talking about absolutely nothing once again, and I hope you have a fantastic week. See you all later. Bye.